MRecktv.
Because he said Puff got him, like, and then he was right because Puff re-released.
Puff got him for some money, or
didn't pay him for his shit, didn't give him his credit. And
This MRecktv content is sponsored by Bobby Boucher, RP again, featuring B Magic 302. Check out the dope visuals and a banging record by Bobby Boucher. Click the link below, is in the comments and the video description.
Yo, I'll never say never again. Forever we ride to the end. If cheddar defining a friend, it's better to die for your kin than to die for the evil of men. However, the rules they don't bend. Whatever.
Hopefully Dave remembered that if he came back to him. He was frustrated because everyone would laugh, because the show was just so funny. Like, we laughed 80% of the day. We would work 6 days a week, but we would laugh at 80% of that day.
Having fun.
And he was, right. And he was with them, and he was like, yo, I'm frustrated. And they said, why? And he said, because y'all are laughing at everything I do. I don't know what's funny anymore. So they left him be, and I watched him for a little while. And I had never really spoken to him until then. So I walked over. I said, look, man, I don't mean to be in your business, but I can be a hater. And it's easy for me to look at a nigga and not laugh at you or be impressed with what you do. So I said, here's what the deal I make with you. Since I'm back there, when you do your skit, if you look back and I'm laughing, it was funny. But if you look back, I'm just like this. That was funny as shit. And that's what we would do the second half of the season. We'd be on set. Dave would do his thing. He would kind of glance back. And if I'm just like, he knew it was some funny shit. So that was our before. So then I left there and went on to work on set design. Somehow I ended up on the original version of Queer Out for the Straight Guy, where we were nominated for an Emmy, which was really weird. I didn't even know it. But I was there, and I was there, worked on Spider-Man 2 with the stunt unit, and worked on a bunch of other projects. So, and then I had the project where I came up with I did work on SNL, and I was met some people. I was Tracy Morgan did some skit, and I was in it. And then I came up with the show, and then I ran into Little X. But we had a report from Rap City because I would play I'll Beat at his Redman video all the time. But that was a Jersey thing, because Red's from Jersey, I'm from Jersey. So of course I'm playing Redman. The year before that I was in college and brought him up for my homecoming. So me and X had a rapport, and I had met Benny Boone, put Benny Boone's first projects on. Benny introduced me to X. I'm telling X, yo, I got this idea. He's like, yo, no questions asked. He said, boom, here go the money. Go shoot it. I filmed it in his office in my lifetime. So then I came back to BET because they asked me to come back. So I'm thinking at the time, like, oh, okay, this must be you. All right, Steven. You know what I'm saying? How I'm thinking? I'm being arrogant.
What year was that when they asked you to come back?
They asked me to come back in like 2000, and I may be off, and I don't care. 2004 or 5, because I know my daughter was born in 07, and I wrote my book. I dropped my book in 07, so I think it had to be 05. And the situation me and him happened in 2000. So you dig what I'm saying? So this is a long time I've carried that burden, and but I spoke about it, so that's why I wasn't a burden. I'm like in complete healing, and that's why I decided to come out and start speaking again, because I'm like, dog, I'm healed. I'm not hurting. I'm not crying. I'm not. You dig? I think people need to see those of us that are in a healing process or have healed and move forward. So yeah, it was about 2000 when that first incident happened. But I would keep in touch, and everyone would keep tabs on me. Then when I came back in 05, I'm gonna say I thought it was a situation where homeboy was being honorable, like, yo, I know what I did, dog. That was kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? Because they gave me my own show, but the show had failed numerous times. And it was called The Road Show. It was a black college show. And it was crazy because I was like the only person that knew how to direct, produce a show on a live set, only because I learned from Chappelle's show. So I did it, knocked it out, and the show had failed. And we were getting good ratings. They had us like at 3:30. And we were getting the lead into 106 and Park. The ratings were high, but they kept moving the show around. And we were like, yo, but the ratings are great. And you could ask DJ Mad Links or the hostess Donella about this. Mad Links is all over Instagram. You can ask him, he'll tell you. They moved around to kill the show. And then one of the producers named Tim Brown, who's from DC, whose brother is the legendary Chuck Brown from the go-go genre. He one day said, yo, D Brad, you don't see what they doing to you? And I'm like, nah, I'm stupid. I'm like, nah. He's like, yo, they're trying to kill your career. He said, why do you think they keep not giving us money? We would be on location with I literally had to get my crew and go, listen, we ain't got no dough, but we got 4 more weeks of shooting. And they just like, yo, D, we got you. They would do these things, but I'm a trooper, so I was like, whatever. And at the time, like I said, I'm thinking that, all right, brother, this is you trying to make amends. And then when I came in, Reginald Hudlin was there, and anyone that knows me creatively knows that Reginald, Warrington, Robert Townsend, and Keenan Ivory Wayans. When it comes to black comedy films, they're like on my Mount Rushmore. So when
that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? The house. So when
I'm with you on that.
Word. So when Reginald got to BT, I'm like, oh shit. So I'm doing everything I can to get over there. And he had heard of me and was like, you know what? We want to meet. And then my dumb ass goes back to Stephen G. Hill and goes, hey Stephen, you know, I was with you guys. I came in and I had an issue with loyalty. And I used to say this about my man Shine as an aside. Cause Shine, like when he would go to court with that J-Lo joint, he would leave the court with the suit, the base, and come right to the offices and chill with me. And I always told Shine, your biggest issue is, you remind me of myself, your loyalty, sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees. Yeah, Shine was a cool ass cat. And I just felt he needed a friend. I just would never go nowhere. He would want me to come riding with him, but I'm like, nigga, you can't drive. And sure enough, he got car accidents. That's why I would never hang out with Shine, because he couldn't drive for shit. Anyway, he couldn't drive at all. But going back to the joint, so I ended up, out of dumb, blind loyalty, telling this man what I was doing. The next day, Reginald Hudson's side was like, we can't meet with you on each other. And it was like, and that's when I blew up and I left. Because I said, nah, nigga, you can do a lot of shit with Reginald. You gonna kill me with Reginald? Let me fail. So I rolled out. And then I couldn't take it anymore because of what I knew that was wrong. And then I also knew how many women that would go through it. There's model chicks that know me that I used to be like, come on, the sexual harassment in the game, heavy. So that's why a lot of times I would speak out and then fall back, because I know, like, if I went hardcore, with an agenda, niggas would be making money in hip hop because too many black women would start coming out. I can really make it easy for sisters to start coming out. I just chill because I'm like, I love the culture. And I understand homegirl with the Russell Simmons joint, where she said that she didn't want to come out because it's the culture. And I'm like, you're right. But the problem is, this ain't right. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not talking about myself, because I'm cool. I'm into gender roles. I'm a man, so I'm like, no, I'm good. But I know what I've seen. I know what I've had to like put my hand in and grab it. You know, when you on set and you actually gotta walk a model to and from the set because these niggas is wilding over here. Like, every day in the hip hop industry is a freak nigga.
Dang.
So, you know, it could get ugly, but it's not my job to do that. So, and my walk was beautiful because I met so many wonderful people. I mean, I've met so many wonderful people. I can tell you stories for days. And then most importantly, that beautiful child of mine, I love her as much as I like her and like her as much as I love her. So everything had to go that route for me to have what I have. And then most importantly, when I get up in the morning, that nigga I see in the mirror, I'm like, I like you. You all right with me. I don't care what anybody else think. But when I look in the mirror at me, I'm all right, baby. I can go to sleep at night. I don't have skeletons.
Yeah, that's one of my slogans.
Word. Like, anybody that will come up after this and tell you anything about me, it would be like, oh, that's personal. I ain't lied for nobody. I ain't stole. I ain't raped. So I'm like, if you got an issue with me, that's cool, but it's personal. It's probably because you don't like my energy, my vibration too high. But, you know, so then anyway, I went back to BET. That went down. And then everything fell apart. And then after that, I just kind of, I think it's funny. I was talking to one of the producers today who called me just out the blue, which is great to hear from homeboy because I always admired him. And I told him, I said, I probably was wilding, but how do you deal with that? You know what I'm saying? When you go to people, I went to executives like Lynn Harris Taylor who turned me away. I called Deborah Lee's office. I'm like, Deborah, just listen to me. You can tell me I'm a fucking liar. And all I said was, cool, thanks for listening, and walked out. But Deborah,
so she wouldn't even listen to you?
Nah, I called Deborah Lee's office a few years ago when the Me Too movement first started. And they literally knew, like, I'm telling you, you're right. When I called, they was like, oh, this is D Brad. And I'm like, damn, I ain't talked to y'all niggas in years. And then I was trying to get in her assistant, I think purposely left me on speaker. And I heard Deborah Lee say it until she was like, get rid of him. And I was like, wow. And as I said before, and I said this numerous times to Deborah Lee, I hope and pray to the Most High that your family members, your children, never go through what I went through. And if they do, I hope there's no one like you standing there saying, get rid of them. That black woman, that was the most foul shit. It hurt me. But the crazy part is I thank her for that, because that's when I realized you better heal on your own, Dave. If not, you're going to sit around for the next the rest of your life hurt. And that's one thing I would tell the women, even though I know it's from a gender perspective, but sisters, the women, y'all better start healing, because if you're thinking that your assaulter is going to come out and say, I was wrong.
Now, D. Brad, let me interject real quick.
Yes.
Now, some of the things that you went through, you care to elaborate on?
Yeah, ain't no big deal. Hey, it's out in public. Like when I came out in 07, the world wasn't ready.
Okay.
So I was stunned. Like I've told people, my book, BET, D. Brad and Me, which you can get on Ludo and Amazon, when I die, people will pick up that book and say, holy shit, this man prophesies all this shit. And you look at the date when it came out and you look at it now, 13 years later, everything I said, even politically, sociologically, even the artists I talked about, from Remy, because I used to be cool with a young lady that was Steph Lover, and we would go and be around Remy, and I kind of saw what led up to her and her incident. And she's one of the dopest lyricists out there, and I'm so glad to see her. Like, that's why I think Papoose is dope. Now, I don't even know none of his music, but just the fact that he stayed, it's like, yo, you the man, son.
Yeah, riding for his lady now. Salute.
Yeah, Remy's dope. Remy's so talented. I just think that she kind of, I always used to compare it to Tupac and Bishop. She kind of thought of sometimes. She had people around her that I could tell didn't have her best interest in mind, but she didn't know me enough for me to say, yo, but I kind of saw it coming. That one of her people would put in a situation. But when I would hang with Steph, it was just, we'd rock, and Remy was always polite, always really cool. But I didn't feel that I knew her enough to go, yo, she knew all these girls before I came around. So, but, so I was blessed to be around people like her. This was so dope to see her doing the thing. I love it. And Papoose, enough respect always, because he's still there. Yeah,
but
that's dope.
I got to do my due diligence.
Do it. Get into it.
And my audience and my platform, because they're going to be like, yo, Reck, man, you ain't on your A game. You dig what I'm saying? So now, I come from the House of Consciousness brothers. So with all due respect, I doubt very seriously there's anybody that's going to have, you dig what I'm saying? I come from them. We do this all day. Okay. So let's go. It's all good. Do it. Bring it. So I'm going to reel you back in now, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, some of the things that you went through at BET with Stephen Hill and all that, could you elaborate exactly? And we just giving people, like, to me, this is education. So if anybody trying to get in the business and may come across some of these people, at least they know what they're dealing with. Could you give people...
It's not this...
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's the people, it's the situation. What happens is, and this is the mistake that I made, because I know a lot of people have seen when I did it, go, why'd you go back? Because arrogance. It ain't gonna happen to me. I heard rumors about Homeboy. It's a small world. You know the game. It's small. The entertainment industry is not big. I heard the rumors, but my arrogance was like, they ain't doing that to me. I'm D. Brad. Until you in the situation, then you're like, holy shit, he's trying to do that to me. And I'm D. Brad. So I think what happens is we get caught up. A lot of times we're told to pursue our dreams or pursue our goals. And like I always tell young people in anything in life, define what success is, because if you don't define success, someone will for you, and you will find yourself doing anything to be successful. Now, fortunately for me, I grew up with a father in the house that taught me to the best of his abilities what a man was. You stand in your principle. You have honor. You feel what I'm saying? So if that ain't what you do, you don't do it. You be willing to get your neck chopped off to stand in what you stand in. So that's what separated me from a lot of other people. And I've said this in lectures. I'm going to say it here because I'm humble enough to say, if I grew up in a home watching my mama work 3 jobs for me and my brothers, you wouldn't be talking to me, because I'd have had my position in BET. Deal with it. Straight up. Because I would don't know better. You did where I'm coming from? I just knew better having a father who taught me, like, we don't do this. You don't do that. We as men. So that's where I came from. So that's what saved me, was the fact that I had it instilled in me at a young age to stand on my own. But the things that I went through it's like Illuminati espionage stuff. Like, you leave paperwork that you had to turn in, turns up missing. Friday you leave, jump in the limo with this dude, and you got the big area. You come back Monday, area's cut in half. You go from 4 interns to 1. You know, suddenly shows that I'm doing where it's second nature. I got executives standing on my shoulder like I'm gonna get something wrong. Your name is disparaged. And it's not that hard to do. It's a simple, like, it's funny because when I watch your show, your podcast, and a lot of other podcasts, some people they take these things, they make it sound so sinister to where y'all end up having to say key words that'll make the people come look at what you're doing. When in reality, no, it's very simple. We go through it every day. It's subtle. It's little things where, your best friend is there and that person may not be as strong as M.Reck. So now you go to your man and go, listen, you like your job? Yeah, well, you got to stop hanging out with M.Reck, right? Because he's nothing but trouble. What's your man and them going to do when he really like what he do? You're going to be like, you're right.
Yeah.
And then it's very easy to blacklist you because at the end of the day, nobody wants a problem. So, and I was told this happened to me. So it's real easy. Oh man, I'm thinking about bringing M.Reck in. We love his podcast. I'm in a position I don't like you. All I got to do is go, who, M.Reck? I mean, y'all can. What do you mean, D-Brad? Go elaborate. No. I mean, M.Reck's cool. He's just a bit, as I was called, he's uncontrollable. And then everyone goes, you know what? Yeah, I don't need that problem.
Yeah.
So it ain't even that sinister how we make it. It ain't even, it's real subtle what you do. A lot of things that a lot of podcasts like yours talk about, it's the deepness, but it's like, dog, a lot of them people doing them things, that's who they were. And they would be in the streets doing that. It's just that we take it in such a way. But so the things that I went through, the man never touched me. He never said, oh, D-Brad. It was just, as I'm in the limo, like, okay, this energy's awkward. You're my man, you got your hand in the middle of your crotch and you're looking at me. And then I'm thinking like, damn, is this what I've been doing to women my whole life? You know how dudes, as we pay for dinner, we looking at shorty like, what's up? This nigga looking at me. And I'm looking at out the window like, yo, this is crazy. And again, I reiterate, anyone that wants to say that I'm lying, M.Reck, let me ask you a question. As a man, if I got off here right now and got on Facebook and said, yo, that nigga M.Reck asked me out on a date, would you just be like, I'm gonna just be quiet about it?
Hell no. That's you trying to assassinate my character. I don't get down like that in no kind of way. Exactly.
So my thing is,
I gotta address that right away.
Yeah, thank you. That's my thing. And I will reiterate, and if he's listening, now it's too late. Now I'm like, nah, nigga, you did what I said you was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even care. Like, now I'm gonna clown you because it ain't about the money. And I'm not about the entertainment industry. As I've shown, I have a life. You come with me down to my area in South Jersey. Mr. Bradley has done his thing. You dig where I'm coming from? I got saved. You talked before. I got young boys that got podcasts out of the whole nine. So I stretched out and I did my own thing. But now it's like, all right, it's too late. But when I first said it, I was begging for this man to say something, bro. Because I would have, Steven could have came to me on low and said, yo, I was trying that day. But, and I'd have said, you know what? I don't even want to do it. You're right. But I would have apologized to this man profusely. I would have went on YouTube and said, this is why you don't just blame people for shit. You didn't say a word, dog. So in my mind, I'm going, what I said was correct. The only thing I heard from Stephen Hill's camp was he was told to be quiet. So I'm like, that means you're guilty, nigga.
Yeah, fact.
So, I mean.
So now, that day that it happened, right?
That
night or day. How long after that, I guess, did you resign or did you leave?
Oh, I resigned, but here's the kicker. I was always going to leave because the thing about working at like a BET or MTV or VH1, you learn music television, which is different from regular broadcast television, which is totally different from film. So you're never going to be a director in music television. You can be a music video director or a film director, but a music TV, you're just producers. You produce. I would go out my way to direct and all that. So everybody would call me Hype X. Which I was like, thanks for the compliment, because Hype Williams is the man to me, and Little X is, this dude's vision is just insane. So thanks for the compliment, it wasn't a diss. But I wanted to be a director. So and my old boss, Craig Henry, who had directed like Craig Mack's Flavor in Your Ear, because he hated Puff. He fucked with Puff, and he hated it. You bring Puff's name up, he would just be like,
and why was that?
Because he said Puff got him, and then he was right, because Puff re-released.
Puff got him for some money, or
didn't pay him for his shit, didn't give him his credit, and he was right. And the reason why I know he's right, because the irony was that Puff released a DVD set that had the videos in it, and sure enough, he took Craig's name off of Flavor in Your Ear. And I was like, damn. So he hated Puff when he did that Every breath I take. That joint, he hated playing that video because he said, yo, this nigga's a liar. Like, he hated Puff. Like, he hated him. And I used to...
That's that Missing You joint, right?
Yeah, the Missing You joint.
Yeah, Missing You?
Missing You. So I would bring up Puff to him just to see the nigga get upset because it was hilarious. I'm like, yo, dog.
And what's his full name? Craig what?
Craig Henry. Craig Henry. Brilliant. That brother taught me. He was the one that introduced me to film. Like, he was like, nah, you need to go get on set, D. Brad, and gavel some, be grip, get some lights. So that's what I would do, lighting, camera assistant, and learn directing. So that's why I left, because it was always my plan to be a director, then come back to BET, because I never wanted to leave. I was Mr. BET everything. Like, I was never planning to leave BET until I was forced.
Put in an awkward situation, pretty much.
Yeah, and that still didn't make me leave because I was already planning to roll out to go do that for a couple of years and come back, bring my knowledge. And then, like, my whole thing was I wanted to play the spook sitting by the door. Like, so I did things like, for instance, it's known in New York production that Woody Allen does not hire black people. So I just went and bogarted my set and got hired. I was one of the only black PAs he ever had. And I was schooled by the likes of the late, great Sidney Lumet, who directed Dog Day Afternoon, who directed The Wiz. So I had, like, I was schooled by these, they were taking me in, but at the time, I didn't know my bloodline. So a lot of these people would just take me in, and I would be like, wow, it was so easy, until I found out that I was related to Michael G. Moy, who co-created Married with Children and pretty much every black sitcom. Yeah. And I know that because he and I connected, and he did a little thing on Skype for my students in my my literature class. But yes, when I found out later on, I said, oh, that's why them doors opened up. Because I talked my way into MTV. I talked my way into that. And I heard that people was like, you did what? I'm like, yeah, I just talked my man. They was like, dog, people from all over the world trying to get an MTV. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize that. So then when I found out, so one thing is that everybody's related to somebody. If they're famous, if they're popular in the industry, they're related to somebody. And people should know that.
This MRecktv content is sponsored by Bobby Boucher, RP again, featuring B Magic 302. Check out the dope visuals and a banging record by Bobby Boucher. Click the link below, is in the comments and the video description.
Yo, I'll never say never again. Forever we ride to the end. If cheddar defining a friend, it's better to die for your kin than to die for the evil of men. However, the rules they don't bend.
Peace, world. To promote your music or promote your business by placing an ad on MRecktv, contact MRecktv promo, MRecktv promo @gmail.com. Peace. Oh yeah, subscribe to MRecktv, youtube.com/MRecktv. I'm gone. MRecktv.
It's got a music.